3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Nine Hole Podcast with David and Ian. David, how you doing, brother?
Say it every time. Another Friday, man. I'm good.
Love it.
No real big weekend plans. I was in Denver for a course to better my future in my current career. Learned a lot. Pretty special, actually. And then I'm hoping I get to see Mad Max
Okay.
Furiosa.
Okay.
I love those type of movies. First one that came out with Tom Hardy. I saw that in Arizona, probably when you and I were rehabbing. So I've been pumped about this
I
one.
remember seeing that.
But yeah, I couldn't go on opening night or anything because I was busy.
I get it, brother. I get it, dude. So we got some cool stuff going on in the baseball world. Rob Manfred had came out and was talking a little bit about the need and the idea for the robotic strike zone. It's been implemented a little bit in AAA this year. Well, I shouldn't say a little bit. I guess it's in 6-game series in AAA this year. 3 of them are going to be with robotic umpire strike zones, and then the last few games are not going to be robotic strike zones. So Rob Manfred and MLB have kind of been back and forth about how they're going to implement this into Major League Baseball, and it now seems like it's unlikely for 2025. They've been talking about it. The Players Union and the MLB can't seem to come together on agreement on what the strike zone looks like, bro. What do you got on that, dude? What do you think about the robotic umpires?
I mean, with like replays and reviews, I think we're heading that way regardless. But like, I sent you a link, and we'll talk about this later. But I mean, an interference call ended a game, and so even after reviewing the play, there was still human error in there. But I mean, a former pitcher, balls and strikes, like I love the human aspect where someone's going to make a mistake. Like I could throw one right down the middle, and umpire could be pissed at me for showing him up, and he goes, "Hey, you little bitch!" Like I'm calling balls and strikes. Like I
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
like that, and you kind of have to. It's a little chess game with the batter and with the umpire, and I like that there's not going to be a perfect call every time, but
Yeah,
they're very very good.
yeah. Yes, I guess for being a pitcher, it's a little different for you with the automatic strike zone, the human element, dude, that plays a huge factor on you. Literally, that is everything, right? The strike zone is everything, getting guys out. With
Catchers,
yeah, so the catchers, it kind of changes the landscape of
yeah,
what the catching position is. So if we are going to have a a robotic strike zone, bro, that's going to eliminate the need for like good framing catchers with good hands, good skills there, dude. So like that is a full encompassing position that you need to be able to bang a little bit, but you need to be able to save runs defensively, either by
yeah.
stealing strikes or playing your position at an extremely high level. So now we go straight robotic. It does away with the need to be a Gold Glover in that aspect with the framing and catching and shit, dude. What do you got on that?
There's whole stats that are, I guess, documented that sees who steals the most strikes, who helps their pitchers out the most. But I do think the catching position has gotten a little out of hand. Um, I mean, from a former pitcher myself, like I like guys that just caught the ball. If they did some cool stuff and frame pitches, awesome. But nowadays, it's like everyone's on one knee, sticking the leg out. I think it was the White Sox. There was a guy that was on one knee, nasty slider, kind of in the dirt. He doesn't even really like chest it up or anything. Ball gets away from him, steals home, and then another team, same kind of thing. He's down on one knee, doesn't get it, picks it kinda, but not really, and then throws it to third base from one knee, like over the guy's head. Third baseman's like, "What?" So like
Mm,
catching, there's been almost too much emphasis on, "Hey, let's manipulate the pitch and do all this shit." When a robotic strike zone maybe could actually help with that because your job is to catch the ball, block the ball, keep the ball in front of you, be kind of a quarterback of the entire field. So it's gotten a little out of hand. I don't necessarily agree with robot strike zones, but
yeah, yeah, it could, and I don't agree with it either. I like the way the game is. You know what I mean? I know that there's been changes and they implement new rules and shit for trying to sell tickets and get viewership. And dude, it's been working.
Business.
I know, I get it. But yeah, being able to kind of alter the way that a pivotal position is played on the field because you're taking away the need for it, and it's you're not like rewarding that skill anymore. You take away that human aspect. That's tough. So verbatim from this article. So players feel that a catcher that frames is part of the game. And in fact, framing is no longer important. The kind of players that would occupy that position might be different than they are today. You could
Sure.
hypothesize a world where instead of a framing catcher who's focused on defense, the catching position becomes more of an offensive player. That alters people's careers. Those are real, legitimate concerns that we need to think all the way through before we jump off that bridge. So it seems like all of these things are moving and changing the game and stuff. And now it's like, okay, whoa, got to put a halt on it. That's crazy.
Dude, that's how the world in general is going, though. I mean, you look at like a assembly line of Amazon workers that are picking products and putting them in boxes, and a robot comes out that goes, I can do 5 times the amount as one human can with no breaks, no bathroom, no snacks. And then you start seeing the decline in jobs and the change in requirements for that job and so on and so forth. Like, I'm all for technology. I'm all for bettering, making our lives easier, but like there's always a cost to that.
Yeah, I feel that, brother. Feel that, brother. We there's some more news amongst the MLB tabloids, I guess, that the uniforms are going to be changed a little bit. They're going to be altered by Nike moving forward. So Nike caught a whole bunch of fucking heat in spring
Oh yeah.
training with the poor quality of the jerseys. You could see through. You could see what they're wearing underneath of it. The lettering on the back of the jersey was pretty finite. It was squished together. It looked dumpy. It looked fake. It looked cheap. And so they're going to Nike. I guess one of the top guys of Nike over there was answering to it. They said they're going to address it moving forward. They're going to allow players to tailor and individually customize the pants, which is crazy that they couldn't do that already,
Yeah,
I guess.
Majestic did that.
There, yeah, dude. So the letters, the non-customized pants, the sweat through, and the lack of matching of the grays will all be addressed moving forward. So that is big news on the cosmetic side of Major League Baseball. Big old news, dude. Let's see. We got some World Baseball Classic news here. So, my
I kind of
God.
enjoy the World Baseball Classic. Like,
So there was there was a big big showing in Miami, right? This last
yeah,
one. And so it'll be in Miami for the second tournament in the row. That's big. Houston, Miami, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and Tokyo will be the sites for the 2026 World Baseball Classic. So I'm a fan of it too. I'm a fan of it too. What do you think about like what can we expect from anything that's going on with the World Baseball Classic moving forward, dude? Are you gonna be tuning in as adamantly as like past classics, you think?
I from like a stateside perspective, I wish like last World Baseball Classic, I thought the U.S. did a good job um, getting the guys in there that need to be in there. But like for Latin American cultures, it's massive.
Yeah,
Like
bro.
you look at Miami, and it was Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Mexico. I mean, they were
It's crazy.
loud, they were proud. It was insane. And you got had guys like Taiwan Walker opting to go pitch for Mexico to honor his Mexican heritage, which I think is great. But then like Trout finally played, Mookie Betts played. Um, that was Shohei Otani and him showing out. I think he struck him out to
Mm,
end one of the games. Like it's become way better. And at first, it was like the American guys didn't really even want to
yeah.
participate in it because it was going on around spring training, and they're like, "I'm making $30 million this year. Like, I'm
Why
not going to
risk
get
it?
hurt. Yeah, I'm not going to get hurt." I do wish like the Olympics were a little bit more like you have to be like an amateur to be in the Olympics, but
Mm,
World Baseball Classic could be huge, and this is America's pastime. I mean, I know it's changing, and football and basketball are huge, but I do wish selfishly that as a U.S. team we went in and dominated.
okay. I like that. we got some more news out of Major League Baseball about the baseball issue. Um, so we've discussed on here all of the different types of elbow injuries that have accumulated, the amount of pitchers going down, surgeries, TJs, like TJs are in fashion now. And so there's been a lot of different kind of ideas or answers behind why the uptick in elbow injuries has been accelerating. But a lot of some players have came out and said that like the sticky stuff helps. The sticky stuff helps. And so Major League Baseball has been trying to partner with somebody and it just didn't work out, man. So they're going back to Rawlings to make a tackier baseball, dude. What do you being a pitcher? We've talked about the use of sticky stuff, and of course it helps the pitcher, but it also could limit injuries. It could potentially limit.
I think it's safer in every
Yeah,
aspect.
yeah. People getting hit, bad places, man. What do you got on that?
Yeah. I mean, guys are throwing 100 miles an hour like it's the new 93. Seriously. And if I was a hitter, I wouldn't want their sliders to be nasty or their changeups or, spin stuff. But if a guy doesn't know where the ball's going because he's throwing a cue ball, I mean, I'm up there maybe fearing for my life a little bit.
Yeah.
And they did that like Mississippi mud. They rub up all the balls on that, and that helps. But like if you feel a brand new Major League Baseball, there's barely any seams on it. It feels like it's just gonna pop out of your hand. I mean, I got one right here, and this thing feels this
Yeah,
is rubbed
slick.
up. Yeah, but it's slick. And I mean, I don't have as much control over this. And when you're sweating and heat of the moment, like it
Thing
would be
moves
cool
too.
if they came. 'Cause I think Japanese baseballs are tacky.
Okay.
Like they're a little tackier.
Okay.
Um, and
So,
guys don't have any injuries over there, and they come over here and they do.
mm, see, I did not even know that.
Yeah,
So I did not even know that, bro. So, they said that strikeouts are a little bit down. They also said that batting averages are a little bit down. So I don't know what kind of influence a new baseball could have on the outcome of games. But if they're necessarily looking to make the game more exciting and move it along, and it advance younger viewership numbers like that,
I
the
think that
numbers.
all
Mm,
that's all the problem with data. I think data is a massive, useful tool, but a kid that's scrappy gets on base, Texas leaguers, little blue pits, random line drive, sometimes a home run, whatever. Like you could now look at the launch angle and the tack angle and all this stuff and say like, hey man, like you're not doing what everyone else is doing.
yeah,
When your job as a hitter is to get on base, get hits. I think sometimes if we use the data to better ourselves, but also just know that it's just data. It's not the end all be all. You get on base, you hit 350, 300, 290, whatever it is, like that's your job. I think your pitcher as a pitcher, your job is to get people out.
yeah.
I think that we've gotten away from that too much.
Over analytical,
Yeah.
putting just so much of a fucking emphasis on the numbers and the data being used, and
Yeah, use it as a tool. But if I was a pitcher and in the big leagues right now, I'd say, oh man, my changeup needs to get better because of these numbers, and I'd work on it. But like every fifth day when I was going to start or relieve or whatever, like I would go into there not thinking about, oh man, I wonder what my induced vertical break was on that sinker. I would think the guy grounded out, I got him out.
yeah,
I did my job.
100%, brother. Speaking of doing a job, dude. So we've been anticipating the arrival of Paulie Skenes, Mr.
Yeah.
Skenes to the MLB. And so in 3 starts so far, man,
Research.
he has impressed. He has delivered. He has shut people down. 3 starts, 16 innings pitched, 21 strikeouts. Good for a 2.25 ERA, brother. And so you had sent me something over that talked about. I had an idea that he went to Air Force, right? He went to Air Force for the first 2 years of his collegiate career. And if you are in the Air Force Academy playing baseball or attending Air Force for longer than 2 years, then you have to serve 5 years after graduating. So he had a decision to make, and he decided to transfer out of Air Force, go to LSU to maybe get around that rule. they didn't necessarily have a like an amendment, like a rule
Addendum? Yeah, I think so.
amendment, a rule in place that said, the Paul Skenes rule, right, where he could kind of get around it. So he transferred out. Bro, there are reports saying that this young phenom, this 21-year-old Paul Skenes, who is looking like he is going to be in
Set
the
for
big
life.
leagues
Yeah.
forever, is going to serve in the military after his baseball career is over. He is going to honor his commitment to his country. I think that is extremely, extremely badass.
That's really
Bro,
cool.
what do you got on that?
Well, I think so. He faced the Giants his third start. 6 innings, 6 hits. I think one strikeout. And he said I didn't have my best stuff, but like you're going up against a formidable, kind of iconic team
Yeah,
franchise in the Giants, and you go out there and you deliver no runs. Like I mean, he did great, and he didn't have his best stuff. But then he comes out. Yeah, I guess he's still in contact with his Air Force coach. And there was even an article with this like super famous girlfriend, TikTok, Instagram girl, whatever, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't even know that. Like, he's gonna go back to the military." But that's a wide range of things. Like, doesn't mean he's going out and being a infantryman, getting in war. But I think that's really cool. I mean, countries like Korea, you got to serve 2 years. I mean, we played with some of those guys, G-Man Choi. Like,
mm,
he at some point in his life will have to serve 2 years in the military.
it's wild.
Yeah,
That's
we don't
a
require
heavy
that
bet.
in the U.S., but for him, obviously, he became a phenom, but there was some interest he had from the beginning to be in the military, and it sounds like he still has that, which is awesome.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. So yeah, Ready Phenom would have to be obligated to serve 5 years of active duty in the service before attempting a pro baseball career. Had he stayed at Air Force, the Department of Defense didn't have a solution for him attempting to turn pro after his junior year. So that's why Paul Skenes transferred to LSU, brother. So that's going to be crazy to see moving forward. Obviously, like, he's insane. He's a generational talent just from the little sample size that we've seen so far, bro. It's fucking
Very
lights out.
impressive. Yeah,
It's insane.
unbelievable. Like watching it, and I talked to one of my old teammates that's in baseball now, and briefly about it, but he was like, "Dude, he's maybe the best I've ever seen at
That's
that
crazy.
age, at that level."
21, bro.
Yeah, he's
It's
going to
wild.
continue to get polished. I mean, right now I mean, I know he can pitch and he's hitting spots, but he's just rocking and firing. Like imagine when he gets into the playoffs, or I mean, look at a guy like God, what was his name? Came out of North Carolina, was the absolute dude for the Mets, Matt Harvey.
Mm,
He was called, they call him the Dark Knight,
yep.
and he was like the savior of Gotham, and I mean he was on every article, cover of every magazine.
He was
Where the
pitching in
fuck is he?
Korea last I
Yeah,
heard.
where is he?
He
He
gone.
had he had a couple years where he was just unbelievable. But if that shows you anything about the level of sports at that height, you got to it's hard to be that good for that long.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where Skeens goes and if he can keep it up.
Yeah. And even cooler if he honors his commitment. I mean, I got nothing but respect for that,
And
man.
that's a beautiful thing.
Admiration. Yeah, dude. Pretty badass there. Um, we got a game between the White Sox and the Orioles. An interference call had ended a ninth inning rally by the White Sox. A 4-run ninth inning rally by the White Sox was cut short when Andrew Benintendi's pop out to shortstop Gunnar Henderson with runners on first and second and one out, in which the infield fly rule was called. It ended the game as Vaughn was ruled out for interference by third base umpire Junior Valentine. So, according to Rule 601A, the runner can be ruled out for hindering a fielder trying to make a play on a batted ball, whether it was intentional or not. So they hit them, man on first and second, right? One out, infield fly rule, and the second base runner touched the shortstop. So they just banged the game, bro. Let's see it. See it in real time.
So right there, the runner was just going back to second base.
Yeah.
That was it.
Gunnar Henderson's looking around like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Did I do something wrong?
I know him.
He's pretty
I've
good,
had
huh?
him. I've had him a couple times.
Watch this. He's running straight for the ball. Well, I mean, he had to sidestep him, but like, what is the runner supposed to do?
So Vaughn wasn't even looking. He wasn't even aware that he was there. It's crazy, brother. And he
That's
still caught
Kimbrel
it.
too.
Yeah,
Craig Kimbrel still doing it.
that's crazy, bro. And so that ended the game. It was a vicious comeback, they were calling it. 4 runs in the 9th. Cut short, dude. So the White Sox are 15-36 right now, currently last in the AL Central. They're fucking grinding. And the Orioles are 30-18. They are second in the AL East, bro. So
When you're hot, you're hot. You think?
yeah, when you're not, dude, you are not.
Yeah.
For
I mean,
sure.
that's a weird. It's like those umpires just want to get home. Like, hey, let's just go home.
That's a tough.
I get that rule, but if he was like openly, like knowingly trying to get in the way, that's one
Different
thing.
story.
But yeah, he just looked and walked back to second base.
I
Weird, unfortunate.
blows my mind that they called that interference, but then again, what do I know? You know? So we got should we end with the Scheffler? Should we end with the paying student
Yeah, I'm
athletes?
excited to talk about Scottie, but
Okay, let's end on that, dude. So let's
okay.
talk about this is pretty dope. I mean, it's pretty dope. It's gonna change fucking college sports for a long time, eternity, right? So
Yeah,
the landscape of college sports is about to change, and now the NCAA is going to be paying student athletes. So there's a antitrust settlement from the NCAA that is
2.8 billion.
that's going to include 2.77 billion of back pay damages owed to former Division 1 athletes. So that is just money that they could have made had there been a video game that could use their name, image, and likeness, had there been a system in place that they could benefit from NIL money, endorsements, anything like that, appearances, dude, shares of TV rights, viewership rights, all that stuff, like shares from all that stuff, brother. It is wild, but there's going to be almost $2.8 billion of back pay damages for this stuff. What's your take on that, dude? How are you feeling about that?
I mean, it's kind of weird. Like you look at what the minor leagues are doing now, paying for housing, giving you more money per diem, better salary. Like I know we just went through like the minor league settlement, but that was because some guys were fed up and they went to court and fought for it. This, like, I got a buddy. You met him, Lat. He was a linebacker D end at Iowa State University. He was in video games. He got a little settlement from that a couple years ago. But like, I'm thinking, like, is he going to get a bunch of money from this?
So they're saying football and basketball are going to get a bigger share from NCAA on this like reimbursement on this back pay damage. So like smaller schools are going to need to pay too, even if they don't necessarily make a ton of revenue from all of these sports that are generating any type of revenue. So these schools are going to need to pay back, I guess, wages. This NCAA antitrust settlement includes these schools paying back, back pay damages, dude. Dude, on top of that, there's going to be a future revenue sharing model moving forward for Power 5 conferences and schools. It's going to be like direct pay. So these Power 5 schools are going to pay their basketball players, football players, baseball players, whatever it is, like direct pay, direct money. And so, dude, we're talking about NIL money. We're talking about competitive football. So all of the Power 5 conferences, if you
There's
want to
so much
remain
money.
competent in football, you're going to need to sack up and join in on this. You know what I mean? Like if LSU isn't going to do this, but Alabama is, what's saying a 5-star recruit is not going to go to Alabama to get money as opposed to, you know what I mean? Like it's absolutely crazy. That like the big football schools are going to need to like be a part of this in order to stay competitive. But the crazy part is Title IX. So Title IX
Women.
states that there needs to be equal opportunities for both sexes, right? So there's got to be X amount of men's sports, X amount of
Yeah.
female sports, same opportunity. So here, the federal law, there's got to be sex equity in terms of pay. So male athletes and female athletes have to have the same rights, have to make the same amount of money in order for it to be legal. And so all of this has to comply with that, bro. So there's going to be a ton of money being floated around, passed around, paid to these collegiate athletes, and it's got to be labeled fair by the judge. You can't disproportionately give favor to certain people or teams or sexes, dude. It's gonna get fucking nuts.
It looks like each school would be permitted but not required to set aside $21 million in revenue to share with athletes per year. And I think this is eye opening. I think this is good, but this is eye opening to think that we're just now doing this. But how much did the NCAA? How much did these schools make? And when we were playing, and I was in the minor leagues, I was naive, I was young, I was hungry. A part of me is like, hey, you got to get through the grind to get to the top, you know. But now, knowing what I know now, at almost 34 years old, like I was eating peanut butter and jellies for 7 years of my life, you know, sharing apartments with 10 guys. Like, it's not normal. It's not okay.
Yeah.
And then, like, almost like I don't think this is the right word, and I'm nervous to even say it, but like, it's almost like a little bit of like slavery. Like, you get these guys in here, and the people at the top are making money hand over fist and exploiting this young, these young generational talent. And yes, you get your school paid for, and yeah, you set up, and school is more important now than I ever even realized. But they are making so much money from the jersey sales, the hot dogs, the beer, season tickets, like ads. And now these kids at 20 years old, 19 years old are finally getting a piece. But now people from the past 10 years, 5 years, 20 years are probably like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Because that's
dude,
how I
for sure.
feel with minor leagues now. Is sounds like a pretty cush
Yeah,
job these guys
comfortable,
have.
comfortable.
And
Hell
you and
yeah,
I were lighting roaches on fire.
that's right. Seriously,
Yeah.
literally leaving their carcasses out. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Spread
Just
the
as like,
word.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let your friends know. It's
I'm
so
sleeping on a.
crazy
I was sleeping on your futon.
that I put
Dire-
together.
yes, directly after ulnar collateral ligament reconstruction, Tommy John surgery, sharing a one-bedroom apartment, which I'm grateful for, but I couldn't afford anything else. And that thing would squeak so damn
It's
much that
actually a
anytime
studio.
studio, yeah, it wasn't even a bedroom.
No,
But that thing would squeak so much if I moved in the middle of the night, you're like, stop fucking moving.
that's right, bro.
But
My
these kids
wife,
don't have to deal with that
she's the
anymore.
same. Nah, I know. It's crazy. They get housing paid for and stuff.
Yeah, I'm grateful. I mean, I think it's awesome. Same with this college stuff, man. Like, people are going to be like, where's mine? But
I
I
don't
think it's also a slippery slope because you start doing this, and then how many different gates are you opening up to?
where does it stop?
Yeah, where does it stop?
Yeah. So they said it's not gonna be all set in stone, but they're gonna start rolling this out, and a whole bunch of lawsuits and crazy like class actions are gonna be fucking coming out of the woodwork, bro. So we'll see what's going on there, dude.
Scary
I'm
time to be involved in the NCAA, I think, but
Yep.
they're
Yeah,
trying.
for sure, dude. We'll see how that pans out, dude. But last story we got, Scottie Scheffler. So Mr. Scheffler, the number one golfer in the world, has been charged with assaulting a police officer in reckless driving that he is not going to be pleading guilty to. There was some new evidence and some new video that had come out this weekend or this week, and some some information about the officer that had arrested him. So the officer that had arrested him has been disciplined 6 times in the past.
Donuts.
He got like reprimanded for not having his body cam on. So there is there's no actual footage of what's going on, and he suffered swelling and abrasions from this crazy incident. You know what I mean, dude? But what do you got on any of the information that's now coming out to light?
I mean, I feel bad because I do believe in law enforcement. I know there's some bad cops out there, but like I got two cousins that are in law enforcement, police officers. they deal with the absolute worst shit every day. It's not easy. We talked about this last week, but a guy just died. Tensions are high. But this cop like tore his pants, was running after Scheffler. Split. It's bad. I don't know if you watch a video. Hold on. Something stuck in my throat.
Oh, so
he ran after Scheffler.
Pants.
Yeah, he tore his pants.
Oh,
didn't turn on his body cam footage. Didn't activate it. It looks like in the video they zoom in. There's like a zoomed in thing, and Scheffler's just driving. The guy sprints off, probably the fastest he's ran in 15 years. Tears his pants somehow doing this. $80 pair of pants. I don't know. I mean, they're screwed.
Yeah.
It's really bad. But Scheffler is being cool about it, I think, to an extent.
Okay, so this is not looking good for the cops. This is not looking good for the police. No. Oh, like you think it's maybe like not a malpractice, but a wrongful suit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was tensions were high, craziness going on, power trip. Like
I get it.
He didn't do anything wrong.
Nah. So at least from some of the video that I was seeing, it didn't look too crazy. You did see him driving up alongside the road and stuff, but other than that, dude, I didn't. There wasn't any video of anything happening. So I guess I'm on the side of Scottie Scheffler right now. Poor Scottie Scheffler.
Well, that's the thing. I think it's going to be the cop's word versus Scottie Scheffler. And
yeah.
The more information that comes out, it doesn't look good for the city of Louisville Police Department.
Yeah.
And I was honestly a little worried because I'm a big Scottie Scheffler fan, but I was worried that we were going to see some video of him just being like an arrogant prick. And he doesn't seem like that, but I was worried that he was going to drive by and be like, yeah, like I'm number one in the world. Like, get out of my face.
Smell ya.
Doesn't look like that. It looks like this cop takes off on a dead sprint, like bangs on his car door.
Yeah.
Tears his pants in the process. And yeah, I feel bad, but the cop is not in shape.
Yeah.
There's like 4 of them that rush over to help, and they all look like they're 300 pounds.
Might be, might not be the A squad on the morning crew.
Right? Yeah, you can call me a piece of shit, but if I was a law enforcement officer, I would actively try to be in the best shape of my life. I don't know why we see this more nowadays, but I don't see any cops that are in shape.
I feel that.
I know that doesn't involve what we were talking about, but that's just a little tidbit.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out. I haven't necessarily noticed, but then again, I haven't necessarily been looking.
Yeah, it's a weird time to be a police officer, and I do feel bad for them because they can't. I don't think they can do their job half the time, 90% of the time.
I feel that, for sure, dude. Well, I mean, that's everything we got here. Just love recapping at the end of the week, sports news that's going on, some stuff to talk about, man. So that's everything we got, dude. You got anything else you want to add in there, brother?
No, man. Just have a good weekend.
You too.
Be safe. Make good choices.
Roll Tide.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir. Everybody, I appreciate you tuning in to another episode of the 9-Hole Podcast. David, appreciate you being here, brother. We'll look forward to touching base again next week.
Bye. Peace. See ya.